Hello, my friends, and welcome. My name is Dennis, and as you probably know, I'm the airline pilot. Welcome to Pilot Blog Podcasts. Today, we're going to speak about the best pilot jobs out there, and I will record this video. I want to warn you, I will record this video without any editing, and I'm not native English speaker, so I will do some of the mistakes, mispronunciations, grammar mistakes, so sorry about it, but I hope in the end you will understand the topic of our video. And today, as I said to you, best pilot jobs out there. We're going to speak from the airplane perspectives, from the airplane type perspectives, from the geography, from the airline type, money that you can get working as a pilot, roster, and of course lifestyle, family, free time, etc. So let's start from the very beginning. I know that many of you would like at some point to become pilots. Maybe it was your dream when you was a child. Maybe you are a child and it's your dream. So at the very beginning, it's very important to understand what type of airplanes you want to fly, what type of work do you want to do or job you want to have, because the aviation is different in our world. There is the military aviation, general aviation, cargo, passenger, business, so you can choose whatever you want, and the environment for every type is very different. So at the very beginning, choose whatever you want. Throughout my life, I wanted to become a commercial pilot, but when I was a child, I was dreaming to become a fighter pilot. But later, I changed my mind because I do not really like military. I did when I was a child, but then I grew up. I understand that it's just a gun, The military planes, they are just big guns, like they're used to kill people, and I don't want to kill anyone. So I changed totally for commercial airplanes. That is why I wanted hard to become a commercial pilot. For you, it could be just general aviation. If you have some business, some income, you can buy the airplane, the small type of airplane, or maybe a larger type of airplane, and fly it on your own for your journeys. Could be very interesting. My friends, I was going back to my roots. I got back to my roots a year ago. Then I renewed my single engine piston rating, and it's very fun to fly the small airplane, my friends. You do the VFR flights, you do the visual approach without any guidance, so it's really nice. It gives you a nice feeling, and I would consider it even more interesting compared to commercial aviation. But what commercial aviation gives me, it gives me also the great feeling of flying, not as in general aviation, but still it is great, and also it gives me the salary. So I fly for my joy, and I also got some money for it, so I like it a lot, my friends. So for you, at the very beginning, you need to understand whether you like military aviation, because there you can join, for example, USF military for free, and even you can get the salary, fly these fantastic fighter jets. I would like to try the fighter jet, to fly the fighter jet for myself. I just don't want to, fire rockets for people. I would like to fly it just for joy, not for its purpose that it was built for. So it's not really mine, but I would like to try it as for the joy. For you, it could be your lifestyle, because the pilot job is not about the job, it's about the lifestyle. So whatever you work, you will change your life totally, my friends, because you work on your roster. So weekends, vacations, birthdays, New Year's, Christmas, whatever, you may fly on those days, no matter what. So if you have the roster, if you have the roster, you need to obey. It's your life, so it's your lifestyle. And about the cargo, some people ask me, would I like to fly on cargo planes? My friends, I would love to fly the cargo planes. The operation itself is very nice. Actually, I started from the cargo flights, then I was doing my CPL, my commercial pilot license. I was flying Antonov 26 on routes from Istanbul to Athens, and we carried the mail and some magazines from Athens to Istanbul. Oh, sorry, from Istanbul to Athens, and we were flying back, also carrying some magazines to Turkey. And it was fantastic. You don't have passengers who are complaining. You don't need to care about the temperature in the cabin compartment because they're just cargo. And yeah, it was much easier. So the cargo is loading, because sometimes when you fly on passenger airplanes, there may be complaints from the passengers. For someone it's hot, for someone it's cold. There may be unruly passengers, the passengers who got drunk, and the passengers who lost in the terminal, and you need to wait for them for several minutes and maybe half an hour. I don't know. It happens. Everything happens with the passengers. So the more people you have on board, the more problems actually you have on board. So flying cargo plane is fun and much easier compared to the passenger airplane. Just pilots on board, and the worst thing I think is just to make a coffee, because you don't usually have the flight attendant, so you need to decide who will make a coffee or tea for the crew. Actually, I was the guy sometimes because I was just a cadet. And yeah, it's fun, except if you fly during the night time. So the worst thing about the cargo flights that you fly during the night time. I don't know why it's like that. Maybe because during the daytime there are lots of passengers flights, and that's it. You fly cargo on during the night. That's it. So almost every night we flew on cargo, and I was really exhausted, my friends. It was totally bad for your body to fly. It is totally bad for your body to fly during the night. You can fly at night on a passenger flights, but it happens just occasionally. It's not every day you fly during the night time. But for cargo, oh god, you'll fly during the night, all the time during the night, almost. And yeah, you need to decide what you want. Also for cargo flights, there are big planes flying around, like Boeing 747s. We have also the big airline here in Ukraine. It's called Antonov Airlines. They operate Ruslan's Antonov 124, also Mriya, the biggest airplane out there, Mriya Antonov 225. So they also fly mostly during the night time, but they operate for long time outside of their base country. So their base here for maintenance, let's say in Gostomel airport near to Kiev, but they may fly for several weeks, even for several months sometimes. So we have to be outside the family for quite a long time. So for someone it's okay, but for me, my friends, I may not accept it, because I live here just 15 minutes away from my airport, Kiev Boryspil, and I'm here with my family. In 90% of all my flights, I take off from Kiev Boryspil, and I land here almost the same day or same night. So I spend quite a lot of time with my family. For cargo flights, also with this crisis, I would say it's more stable compared to commercial airplanes, because the people still buy some goods, and they buy them a lot. So you need cargo planes to deliver those goods, no matter what, no matter on pandemic or etc. Because for commercial planes, of course, if the borders are closed, you cannot fly there. There is no demand from the passengers. All right. For cargo, it's totally different story. They may the restriction applies only for the crew, and as the law, the crew have some exceptions. Let's say we can fly, as a crew, we can fly to Australia, New Zealand. Normally, usual passengers cannot do it, right, with those restrictions. Still, you need to obey to some restrictions, like you need to be vaccinated at some point, you need to have those PCR tests, etc. But still, you can fly there. And at some of the countries, let's say in European Union and many more, I do not even show my passport. So if I fly to, let's say, Paris Charles de Gaulle just for one night, so I fly there at the evening and come back in the morning, so I spend the night there, I just show my ID to the passport control, guy or someone, and they say, okay, go, because they see that I'm wearing the uniform and I have that certified ID. That ID actually gives you the permission to fly and cross the border without any issues. So yeah, you can do it very easily as a crew member. That thing applies also not for the air cruise but for the vessel cruise, and yeah, nice feature to have. For airplane types, let's say if you fly a big airplane like Boeing 747 on some kind of cargo airline, expect to be out of your base for some time. It could be up to 1 month. If you fly a regional aircraft that I fly, it's not really regional, it's middle range single aisle airplane, Boeing 737. Expect to spend more time with your family, especially if you have the single base. If you're not in a lower seniority rating, if you have this high seniority rating, you can even have opportunity to order flights, and you can have the single base, and from that point it's awesome, my friends, because you can plan your life around single point, and it's very important for every human being to have this point, the point of stability where your family is, where you are. And yeah, it's very, very important. It's for me. That is why then people say, okay, do you want to fly the big 747? I say no. I like this airplane, but I usually say no, because I know that those planes now mostly fly for cargo. No, you see the commercial planes of 747s, they just got retired in passenger fleet and they changed for cargo fleet. They all went to cargo. So I don't want to fly the 747 because of that, because I need this point, the point of stability that I actually have in my current airline. There are some different types of airlines, let's say low-cost airline and classical airline. My airline is more classical than low-cost. However, we still have those low-cost features, like you can pay for some more comfortable seats on board. You can pay to deliver for the meals, let's say, for extra service, for fast line. So still we have those features as you may find in low-cost carrier. And the ticket price for our airline is also low, comparable with the low cost. But low cost carrier, they are totally different, and the airline may treat you in different way as a pilot. For example, they may not give you meals. They usually do not give you meals on board. They pay you salary, but they don't care how you can maintain your pilot license, so they usually do not organize anything around your license. So your license you need to maintain on your own, and they can give you simulator trainings and checks. That's all they can give you, but the rest applies only for you. Your medical, everything, you need to take care about it yourself. And for example, in my airline, we have special managers who usually who plan actually medical checks, simulator tests, skill tests, simulator checks, and many more. So I understand, I see everything, let's say, in my schedule. So we have the special department for that. I also need to take care about my documents, but it's not as crucial as in low-cost carrier. So for a low-cost carrier, I heard some of the stories that pilots just cannot. They usually how they quit the job. Sometimes it's not usually how they quit the job. They just do not come for the flights. That's it. So that's the thing. I heard the stories. In my airline, no, you cannot do it. You have some penalties if you do like that. So you need to resign officially. And yeah, I hope I'll never do it in my airline. Actually, I don't have plans to resign from my airline. Also, I have the questions about should I go for big airplane like Boeing 777? It's a passenger airplane. My friends, I will not, probably I will not ask anyone for that, but if my airline will tell me, okay, fly Boeing 777, I will say, okay, I'll fly it. But it's not my, let's say, dream airplane to fly. Actually, I don't have the dream airplanes already. I fly the fantastic airplane, Boeing 737 NG. I wanted to fly the Boeing 737 MAX. Actually, our airline had those in order, but yeah, they canceled the order at some point, especially during the pandemic. It's totally, I understand them, because there's no demand for traveling nowadays, so they decided not to take the Boeing 737 MAX. However, with new modification, I think this airplane is safe with what they finally came out with. New modification of Boeing 737 MAX, more safe, of course, compared to what they did at first. Of course, it was the Boeing mistake to produce this faulty design or not of the engines and everything, but faulty design of the angle of attack sensors, etc. So it was very vulnerable for faults. Now it's safe. I consider this airplane totally safe. So about the big airplanes like Boeing 777, there are not as many Boeing 777s around the world compared to Boeing 737s. So probably if something goes wrong with your airline, hope it will never go wrong with mine, you may lose your job, of course, and it's more difficult to find a job on 777 compared to 737, believe me, because there are many of 737s around, and 737 looks similar to Airbus, so some airlines may even give you the type rating at some point of Airbus. Let's say Wizz Air, if they need the pilot, they also hire people from different airplane types, and they give the type rating. Of course, they got the money from you afterwards, from your salary, but anyways, it's a good thing. So even if I would at some point fly Boeing 777, I would still try my best to maintain the Boeing 737 type, just in case something goes wrong with 777, as it was actually happening in my airline in a crisis. It was no demand of flying those planes, so they are still grounded, but I think they would fly now, but they had the other problem with the engines. Actually, I wonder why, because you know about the United case, United Airlines, that the engine just blown up in the skies. So they had the Pratt & Whitney, but it was just different modifications compared to what engines we have. We also have the Pratt & Whitney, but it's different, modification. But still, they grounded all the Pratt & Whitney engine 777s around the world. Wow, it's crazy, but I hope at some point we'll install some new features on that engine cowling, and of course we'll fly those fantastic airplanes. Actually, I like the Boeing 777. If you want to see me inside this airplane, I have the video about the Boeing 777 on my channel. Just type pilot blog Boeing 777. Could be a very interesting video for you, because I discovered very hidden rooms. I went to the bottom, to the cargo compartments, to E&E compartment, and of course in the cockpit. Fantastic plane. And at some point, if they say me, if my airline would say me, we need pilots for 777, we need you to fly the 777, of course I would go there and fly it. But myself, I'll never ask for it, let's say. There are some pros and cons about those big planes. The biggest con, as I say to you, finding the job is a problem compared to 737. But the big pros there is that if you already flown all your landings, etc., and you like just this different lifestyle, then you fly somewhere for several days, and you arrive home in a few days, and you fly really long haul flights, like 10 hours, 12 hours, it's all for you. And you fly like that, let's say 3 or 4, maximum 4 times per month. At least it was in my airline. So you fly like 3 times per month, you have lots of free time at home. So probably for pilot blog, for spending time with my channel, with my family, it could be the good thing, because Then it was really, the demand was really high in 2018, 2019. I used to fly the 737 4 days in a row, or even 5 days in a row. So I had just 48 hours of free time per week. It's not enough to even to maintain this channel. So probably it will bring me to some point. However, I'll have just 3 flights per month, and someone would land this plane, so we have like 6 landings, right, per month. So yeah, sometimes you do auto land, sometimes first officer needs to land the plane, and yeah, probably have just 1 or 2 landings per month. But for me it's okay, because I already have close to 7,000 flight hours, and already done all of my landings with crosswind on different type of runways, on different types of airplanes, and I think I already did everything for flying skills, and I can fly this beautiful airplane. So at some point, why not, my friends? So it really depends on your airline. For example, if you fly the 777 in Emirates, it can be not only the long haul flights but also short haul flights, because they have just 777s and Airbuses, the biggest airplanes in the world, passenger airplanes. So yeah, there you fly not only long haul but short haul, and there you can have some, I think you can have some fatigue compared to my airline. Then you fly just three times per month. There you fly a lot. You fly like a regular Boeing 737 destinations, I think. So it really depends on the aircraft you want to fly, and I would consider, if you really want to find a good job, if you want to find the job itself, especially nowadays, I would tell you that it's better to have the Boeing 737 or Airbus A320 family, like Airbus A320, 319, 321 ratings, because those airplanes are most popular in the world. So you have more opportunities to find your first job. So after you finish with your license, if you have the frozen ATPL, if you obtained the CPL, if you want to invest in your future and you can find the airline that can give you the type rating, you may invest your money to the type rating. That costs a lot, actually. For 737 I paid 11,000 euros, and actually my airline paid, and it was a great discount for airlines. So usually it's around 13,000 euros for the type rating, and you spend like 2 weeks for training. Firstly, a couple of weeks on a ground school and a couple of weeks on flight simulator, so totally around 1 month, and you can obtain the type rating. Sorry my friends, yeah, I will not edit this video, so sometimes I can do some of the mistakes, slips, and etc. About the geography, speaking about these hot countries like Emirates, at some point it was my dream job to fly with Emirates, to fly these beautiful airplanes, Boeing 777s, A380s, but now I see that it's not really my dream, because the geography of the region is very strange for me, because I'm European. I have the snow outside right now while recording this video. It's snowing, so I have this season change. I have hot summer. We have hot summer here. We have cold winter. We have very nice spring and summer, and autumn. And I like to see it outside. I have the fresh, really nice oxygen saturated air outside. We have a pine trees around, forests. I can hike. How would I do it in Dubai, let's say, or Doha? Simply, it affects your lifestyle, and really depends on what you need in this life. Do you want to fly these beautiful planes? You want to spend all your time just flying and live under air condition all the time? Or you want to live your active life? Well, let's say, my friends, if I would lose my job at some point here in Ukraine, if my airline, let's say, go bankrupt because of the crisis, if they will, lay off some of the pilots, and I would be one of them. Of course, I would fly everywhere. Hot climate, cold climate, doesn't matter, just fly, because it's my life goal to fly airplanes. There I would not consider anything, environment. I would fly even in Africa, in Malarian regions, in Indonesia. Some say it's a worst place to be a pilot, but I don't think like that. So I want to fly everything. But if I have the job right now in my own country, and I just like it, I just love it, my friends, I would not change it. If everything goes well, I would like to retire from my current job. So I don't have the goals to fly these big shiny planes somewhere in the desert. So it really depends on you. Because at some point I wanted to go to Emirates, and actually I passed the interview with them, and after that, in a couple of weeks, they just emailed me, Dennis, thank you for your visit. You actually passed the interview. Your skills are very great, but there were people who were better than you, so we would hire them and stand by for 1 year to be hired, or you can go for the screening once again. And actually, then I went to the screening with Emirates. It was my first time. Then I visited Dubai. It was late spring, and my friends, it was really hot. It was terribly hot. Oh, I was sweating, and I had to wear the suit all the time. You have to wear those suits. It's the corporate culture. But it's very bad there for the climate. So first I was disappointed, but later on, then I passed the screening in Ukraine International. With Ukraine International, I say, oh my God, I'm lucky. I have this job, and I came to Ukraine International Airlines, that they hire pilots, first officers, and I had the opportunity to become a captain. Wow, my friends, it was fantastic. So at the point, you really need to understand what airline you want to fly, at what region you are. Maybe you are a local guy in Emirates, and hot climate is a nice thing for you, because maybe you don't care about it, but for me, it's not good. Let's say it's not good. I don't know how much money should I be paid for now, even like for $30,000, I'm not willing to leave my current airline, my friends. It's not the money that I would like to have living in such a climate. So even for $30,000, I will not change it. Per month, I'm speaking per month. No, I will never change it. Maybe for 50, I need to think about it, but no. The lifestyle is more important for me. Also, I like my airline because it gives me some freedom with my pilot blog channel, and I can speak about many of the topics that usually pilots may not speak about. But I'm honest with you, my friends, and I'm honestly saying that I love my airline. It's the best airline I've ever been employed. I like also Garuda, but probably we're already speaking about a different topic. The best pilot job. Well, maybe about this topic as well, but let's go to other airplane types. We're speaking about airplane types. I started my career from ATR 72 and 42. First it was 42, then 72. And the difference to fly this small turboprop, this small regional turboprop, and Boeing 737 is huge, my friends. It's huge, and you less tired flying ATR, even though it's more noisy. It has some kind of vibrations, but still you are not as tired to fly the small airplane compared to Boeing. I know why. Maybe the air inside has more humidity because you fly at the lower altitude. Maybe because of the lower level of radiation, because you fly at lower flight levels. But on ATR, I could fly like 6 flights per day, and I wasn't as tired as flying 4 flights per day on the 737. Maybe because you don't need really to do anything on ATR, because it's the Airbus philosophy, that everything is automatic. You don't have all those switches as you may find on overhead panel of Boeing 737, and you really need to work with all of those procedures. So it's really easy. You set your flight plan into CDU, computer display unit, control display unit, sorry. And you set the MCP. It's called FGCP on ATR, and that's it. You can fly, no problems. In Indonesia, it was very fun to fly ATRs, since especially in the wet weather, then you have these isolated clouds. So on Boeing 737, you can fly on top of the clouds. Sometimes you can't, but mostly you can fly over the thunderstorms. On ATR, you cannot do it because, as I say to you, your maximum flight level is 250. If the delta ESA is plus 20, plus 25, as we have in Indonesia, your maximum flight level is 170. Otherwise, it just cannot climb higher. The ATR is a really underpowered airplane compared to Boeing. Well, Boeing 737 is the rocket compared to ATR. So, my friends, it's up to you. What airplane do you want? For ATR, interesting, the type rating would cost you more compared to Boeing 737s because there are not many ATRs out there. There are less flight simulators, and they raise the price for the type rating. For Boeing 737s, there are lots of flight simulators, and they have to lower the price for the training. So for ATR, it may cost you up to 17,000 euros, around like that, for the type rating. Quite expensive, and the salary that you'll earn, it's lower. It's much lower compared to Boeing 737. I can tell you my salary. In Indonesia, I earn about $8,000 per month. It's with accommodation, etc. I don't know the salary of local people, of Indonesians, but still, I think it's nice salary for ATR. Oh, sorry. In Wings Air, the salary is a little bit higher, up to 10,000 sometimes, depends on your contract. And for instructors, they may raise the salary up to $14,000. So actually, my aim was to become instructor in Garuda, but with my experience, they say, "Oh, no, we'll hire you as a captain," because I had just 1,000 hours as a captain, as the PIC on ATR. And they say, no, it's low for instructor rating, even though I had a type rating. I was a type rating instructor on ATR. People want money. We want money all the time for our needs. And I worked there 2 years in Indonesia, and I managed to buy good apartments here. So I spent all the money I earned already to buy nice apartments here near to Kiev, to fly from this point that I like, from Ukraine. And I was really lucky to find a job with Ukraine International Airlines. So it really depends on what you need, my friends. Do you want to fly as an expat? Do you want to fly from your own country? Life as an expat could be interesting, could be really interesting. But for me, I already had a family with a very young daughter. By that time, she was 2 years old, and she just hadn't anyone to speak with. Your child who just passed by here. And we needed to come back home, my friends. We needed to come back home because I was living in Makassar. It's not a very touristic place. It's not the place for tourists, and we attract so many attention. And There were families of expats too from America, from Spanish-speaking countries, but still we had this lack in communication. My daughter had a lack of communication with other kids, so we decided, yeah, we need to come back home. I like Indonesia. Let's say 80% like Indonesia and 20% I don't like it. Mainly, why I don't like it, because some of the people, many of the people, they just throw away rubbish everywhere. That rubbish blocks. It's just lying on streets, just lying on beaches. It's blocking the streams. Well, the view is terrible. It's terrible sometimes, but the nature itself is nice. The people, if you speak with them, they're also nice and really friendly people. You'll not find, probably as an average, those guys are really nice guys. Maybe they have, if you speak about in general about the Indonesia, maybe government should put more efforts to give the education to people, let's say, to give them education for free, as we have here in Ukraine, for example. Because, yeah, it's terrible sometimes that people just don't know that you cannot throw the rubbish. You cannot just throw the rubbish to the nature. And for me, it was really bad to see this happening. And during the hot season, there were fires because people just burn, well, not people, but also these companies who, for example, mine the coal, to have the permission to cut down the trees is very hard in Indonesia. So what they do, they just organize fires and they burn the land, and they say, okay, there are no any trees and we can put our mine to mine the coal here. And it's terrible, my friends. It's terrible also. So I have a mixed feeling, but mostly it's a pleasant feeling that I was working in Indonesia. I met so many people, and yeah, generally I like it. And about the Garuda, I like it a lot, my friends. I like it a lot. But what I have now is better for me, of course. So you need to put attention, as I said to you, on geography, on airline, what type of airplane do you want to fly, and the money that you would like to have if you're willing to change, for example, your own country for other one. Because the hot spot for the pilots was the China. United States pilots were dreaming to fly. Well, not all of them, but yeah, I heard that many of them moved to China to fly for the nice salary. It's the tax-free salary, and they earn quite a lot of money. The salary went up, just pre-COVID times, the salary went up to $25,000, my friends, in China for the captain of 737 or Airbus A380. It's crazy money. But I would never move to China even for that money, because it's not, that country is not for me. I need to have access to social media, to Google, to YouTube, and those guys, they block everything, and you live just hard times. You have lots of penalties. You have very strict life out there, and you fly a lot. Like in low-cost carrier, you fly there quite a lot, and it's quite hard to get from China to Ukraine. We have no direct flights, and it's very hard to fly there. That's why they pay such a huge money, because it's very hard to fly there. And the problems with English. Once I went to China. Probably it's the topic of other story. I went to China, and even taxi drivers, they don't know any kind of words in English. It's a big problem. Oh my God. So we spoke about the money. Yeah, $25,000 were the pre-COVID salary. It's the biggest salary out there for commercial pilots. But if you would like to fly the business jet, for someone, your salary may be even higher. It might be lower, much lower, but it may be even higher. Depends on what person you you take on the airplane, because depends on person you work for. But this job is also not for me, because at some point you need to obey. You're like a limousine driver, you're like a car driver of someone really important guy, of VIP, and what you do on board may influence your job directly. Flying my airline, I have strict rules. If I do safe procedure, my job will not be influenced by anyone. If I disobey the rules, for example, flying the business jet, disobey the rules flying and landing, let's say below minima, well, the owner will say, okay, well done, we landed at the proper airport, but finally you may just lose not only your job at some point, but your life. So that job is not for me. I know that regulations may differ, United States regulations, but I heard the stories, guys. I heard the stories that the owners, they just do not understand anything about the aviation. What is minima? What is the weather malfunctions? So they don't care. They treat you like a guy with a limousine. Oh, just fix that. They just do not understand how aviation works. And yes, some of them, they do understand and really put efforts to fix their airplanes, to take care about their crew, but some of them not really. And it's a matter of luck. What owner will give you this job? Because there are many good owners, and some of them, they're really terrible. They treat you like a servant, and some of them, they don't even pay nice money. So it really depends. And the roster, the rosters there is really crazy. They may call you sometimes just from your bed, or the roster may be good, and you have like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So it really depends on the owner of the aircraft. So we really need to consider everything of that, my friends, your lifestyle, the family. If you don't have family right now, it doesn't matter that you will not have it in the future. So think ahead, whether you'll have the family or not. Where do you want to build your life around? You need, human beings, we need to have this some point where you can just relax, then you can call it home. As I see it, some of us really are like gypsies, flying, traveling everywhere, but it's very rare, my friends. It's very rare. Usually we need this stable point of our home, and as I say to you, my stable point is here near to Borispol airport, and I like it a lot since it's not far away and it's really nice. So so I can care about my family, I can fly, and this is awesome, my friends. Back in Indonesia, I had also this kind of point in Makassar at the beginning of the contract, but later on, then the passengers were starting to fly more actively. They replaced our routes, the ATR routes, with Boeing 747 with CRJ, and we were flying all around Indonesia. So I went away from my family like for 1 week, for 2 weeks. It was rare, but for 2 weeks it was really rare, but for 1 week it was stable. Like, you spent 2 of the days home and 1 week out of the home. My family in Makassar, I'm in Surabaya, I'm in Bali, I'm in Kalimantan somewhere. So it's crazy. It was really crazy times. So the second year of me working in Indonesia was really not terrible, but I decided that I don't really need this job like that. At the beginning in Makassar, it was a base with many flights. It was fantastic, but later on it was not good. didn't worth that salary that they gave me, of me spending the time outside with my family. So why do we leave, my friends? Why do we leave? We need to do some job, right? To live good life after all. So consider this: the pilot job is not the average job. It's still the lifestyle, but your lifestyle should have the room for your family, and it should give you some free time. So it really depends on what you need in this life, my friends. So when there are the best pilot jobs out there, for me personally, it is what I have right now. It's my best pilot job, and I don't want to have any kind of other job for now. And I wish you to find this spot for you, to find this job for your life. And my friends, thank you very much for listening this podcast. It was interesting to speak with you without any plan, without anything. So I just speak as I speak with you on live streams probably, but now I speak with myself, and probably you may take something from these podcasts. And as usual, for the awesome guide checklist, first just like this video, after that subscribe to my channel, and finally ring the bell, whatever it means. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great time.